some places, they just hold secrets. Deep in the woods, under a dark canopy of branches, a story of calculated cruelty is about to be unearthed. And it all starts with a single panicked voice, just cutting right through the silence. That's the sound of a truly grim discovery. It's the voice of a police officer standing over a scene that is absolutely going to haunt him for the rest of his life. So, let's set the scene. The date is December 23rd, 2022, just 2 days before Christmas. All that holiday quiet is about to be shattered by an act of just brutal violence. Officer Azor is the first one on scene. He's just one man, staring into the huge, dark expanse of the Lake Jackson forest, knowing a potential crime scene is hidden somewhere inside. But here's the thing he doesn't know. The person who did this, they might still be out there, watching him from the shadows of that very same forest. Our story really begins right here, with that first step into the woods, following a call that signals something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. It all kicks off with a frantic 911 call. A guy named Jamie is on the line saying his best friend is dead. He says he's waiting with another man right at the edge of the forest, ready to lead the police to the body. So Officer Azor has to make a choice, and he makes a really risky one. He steps off the road and follows these two men into the trees, walking right into an unsecured scene where the killer could easily still be hiding. And then he hears it. That rustle in the undergrowth, the snap of a twig. Something is moving towards him. Is it just an animal? Or is it the person who left a body behind? As he pushes deeper, the officer moves from just searching to confirming the absolute worst. He is now entering the heart of the crime scene, a place that would soon earn a horrifying name. Underneath a blue tarp, they find the body of a man named James Layden Decker. He's naked, he's covered in cuts, and he's lying in his own blood. There is no question whatsoever, this was a homicide. The initial look tells a story of a brutal, personal attack. Severe trauma to the head, signs of strangulation, and it looked like the body had been dragged to this spot. But one detail would soon elevate this from a murder to something far, far more disturbing. There's a strange smell hanging in the air. It's gasoline. And when the medical staff take a closer look, they find the most chilling detail of all. James Layden Decker didn't just have gasoline poured on him. He inhaled it. He swallowed it. This wasn't just murder. This was torture. Okay, so with the sheer horror of the scene established, the investigation pivots. The question is no longer what happened, but who is capable of doing something like this? And soon, the whispers in the woods start to form a name. Investigators circle back to Jamie, the guy who made the 911 call, and he remembers hearing something earlier that day, an argument loud enough to cut right through the quiet of the woods. And his story lines up perfectly with another call police had received that morning. A different man, Rick, reported that someone had come to his camp waving a hatchet around, slashing his tent, threatening people. And then, the final piece just clicks into place. Another witness comes forward and reports seeing the suspect and the victim together just hours before the murder, with James on the ground and a man yelling over him. Every witness, every story, they all point to one single person. A man known in the homeless encampments as a bully, as paranoid, as dangerous. His name is Dusty McDonald. So, with a suspect identified, a timeline pieced together, and witness statements locked in, the next step is crystal clear. It's time to find Dusty McDonald. They get his address, and they move in fast. Officers surround the property. The tension is high. I mean, they're about to come face to face with a man who tortured another human being to death just hours before. When Dusty emerges, his first words aren't of surrender or denial. No, he launches into this bizarre claim, insisting that he's the victim. He says James, the dead man, tried to set him on fire. The arresting officers are left with a massive question. Is this a calculated lie, a twisted attempt to build a self-defense case from the very first moment? Or have they just arrested a man whose mind is completely fractured from reality? While the answer to that question is waiting in the interrogation room, where Dusty McDonald's broken reality is about to be put on full display. First, investigators piece together a portrait of Dusty. He tried to present himself as this friend to the homeless, offering people showers and laundry. But the reality was, he used these favors to exert control. He was a paranoid and violent bully. The detective starts things off simply. He just asks Dusty to explain his side of the story. You know, a standard opening, an invitation for a confession, or at least a coherent explanation. Dusty's reply is anything but standard. He looks at the detective and says, "You know I'm an owl, right?" And just like that, the interrogation has gone somewhere no one could have possibly predicted. It becomes clear that Dusty is in the grip of a severe delusion. He believes he's an owl, a word he uses to describe being constantly watched, monitored, surveyed. He's living in a world of profound paranoia, a symptom of unmedicated schizophrenia. His delusions are also grandiose. He doesn't see himself as a suspect. In his mind, he's a godlike figure with a beautiful mind and perfect memory, completely detached from the seriousness of his situation. He discusses the events, but now like he's confessing to a crime. It's more like he thinks he's a secret agent providing valuable intel to the authorities. In his mind, he's the hero of the story, the victim who survived and is now helping the police. After rambling on about his own genius and the surveillance he's under, he asks the detective a final, chilling question that just reveals the depth of his delusion. Will I be able to go home? He has absolutely no concept that his life has changed forever. But while Dusty McDonald is living in this world of owls and gods, the body of James Leedon Decker tells a very different story. A story of undeniable physical horror, spoken not in words, but in wounds. The pathology report is just a brutal catalog of pain. James's face was shattered. He was strangled so violently that the hyoid bone in his neck literally snapped. His ribs were fractured, and most horrifically, he was forced to inhale and swallow gasoline while he was still alive, the chemical burning his skin from the inside out. That was the unspoken truth of the torture forest. With overwhelming witness testimony, the chilling forensic evidence, and Dusty's own deluded admissions, the path forward for prosecutors is clear. They file a single charge: first-degree murder. So the case now moves from the forest to the courtroom. But the central conflict, it remains. The facts of the crime are clear, the brutality is undeniable. But when the killer believes he's an owl, how does justice proceed? How do you prosecute a mind you can't possibly understand?